म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉप अप करा ले. दिस इज द राइट टाइम.
क्या समझ में नहीं आया.
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉप अप करा ले. दिस इज द राइट टाइम.
आप समझा.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
On the same day that Home Minister Amit Shah faced off with leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi in perhaps one of the most combative confrontations seen on the floor of the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi also met with the Prime Minister for a meeting that lasted nearly 90 minutes. It was a meeting that was related to various appointments, including those of information commissioners. Details have begun to trickle out, but in the meantime, the opposition is hitting back at the Home Minister, Rahul Gandhi, claiming today that the Home Minister's hands were shaking because he was under pressure from the attack by the opposition. Amit Shah poo-pooing that allegation, the BJP targeting Rahul Gandhi for yet another trip abroad, this time to Germany. On the program today, we'll be looking at the state of political play. I'm Barkha, you're with the Mojo story. It was one of the fiercest face-offs seen in recent days on the floor of the House. Amit Shah and Rahul Gandhi going head-to-head on the issue of vote chori. At one point, the Home Minister appeared to lose his cool and himself turned to the chair and said that any word used by him that was inappropriate should be expunged. The opposition staged a walkout. The Home Minister said Rahul Gandhi could not dictate the terms of the Home Minister's interventions. Today, Rahul Gandhi took a swipe at the Home Minister, claiming that the Home Minister displayed the fact that he was under pressure and that his hands were quote-unquote shaking. The BJP has poo-pooed that statement and has instead targeted Rahul Gandhi for traveling abroad yet again, this time to Germany. In the meantime, Mr. Gandhi met for a meeting with the Prime Minister. It's a meeting that lasted for 90 minutes. Details of that meeting have only just begun to trickle out. In this Parliament session, how do we assess the state of play on the government versus the opposition battle? Let me introduce our two guests today as we look at that fiery face-off, as well as Rahul Gandhi's meeting with Modi and where political perceptions might stand today. Veteran columnist and author Tavleen Singh is with us. Welcome to the program, Tavleen. And also joining us is senior journalist and author Saba Naqvi. Good to see you, Saba. Let me just start by playing out a little bit of a snippet for anybody who may have missed it of Amit Shah on the floor of the House. Amit Shah later used a word that I can't repeat on this program because it has since been expunged, and then turned to the chair and said, ye word expunge kar dijiye. The opposition walked out. It was a very stormy battle. And today Rahul Gandhi claimed that the Home Minister was under pressure. The backdrop of this entire confrontation, vote chori, which many people believe has yielded the Congress no electoral benefit in the recently concluded election in Bihar. This is Amit Shah on the floor of the House.
मैं 30 साल से विधानसभा और संसद में जनप्रतिनिधि के रूप में चुनकर आता हूं. मुझे लंबा अनुभव है संसदीय प्रणाली का. विपक्ष के नेता महोदय कहते हैं कि पहले मेरी बात का आप जवाब दीजिए, मैं सुनना चाहता हूं. आपकी मुनसफी से संसद नहीं चलेगी. मेरे आप बोलने का क्रम मैं तय करूंगा. इस तरह से नहीं चलेगी संसद. मान्यवर उनको धैर्य रखना चाहिए. उनको धैर्य रखना चाहिए मेरा जवाब सुनने का. इनकी एक बात का जवाब मैं दूंगा.
That moment led, of course, to a walkout by the opposition. Rahul Gandhi reacted today. I'll play out that statement in a moment from now, claiming that the Home Minister showed that he was under pressure. In the meantime, Rahul Gandhi will be leaving for Germany. The BJP has targeted him for that foreign visit as well. I'll start with you, Tavleen. You have always said that Rahul Gandhi is the BJP's biggest asset. The Rahul Gandhi claiming today that it was his interventions that made the Home Minister lose his cool, and the Home Minister was showing quote-unquote signs of pressure. His hands were shaking, said Mr. Gandhi. What do you say?
Well, for a start, I listened to the whole speech because I keep hoping that he will say something that reveals that he has actually become a proper political leader that can take on Narendra Modi. And unfortunately, I did not see in in his intervention. For a start, I couldn't understand what he was trying to say, because he started off with khadi, and then there was Kanjivaram saris, then there was vice chancellors, then it was the RSS, and it went round and round in circles, and then he actually threatened to arrest or to punish the election commissioner. And he went on and on. And for a start, what was this? Why was he making a speech in English? Who is his audience? So to me, frankly, this proved. And I actually met a Modi Bhakt shortly after the speech, and he said Modi is going to be the candidate, the prime ministerial candidate in 2029. And I said he could lose. People get tired of somebody that. He said no, we'll win because of Rahul Gandhi. And I didn't.
And do you agree with that?
I think that Rahul Gandhi is, I've said it before and I'll say it again, is Modi's greatest asset. I really believe that if there was an opposition leader who could be taken seriously, who could make a speech that was, comprehensible and consistent, that there was a thread to the speech. His sister did better. His sister is actually a much better speaker. I don't understand how his mind works, and I don't think anyone does either. I mean, anyone who doesn't vote for him.
Sabha, would you agree with that assessment? In particular, when Priyanka Gandhi spoke, and she spoke before her brother, there were some comments, even from those who support the government, that she had made a strong speech. And she had sort of made this quip that the government should once and for all make a roster list of all the gripes they have against Jawaharlal Nehru. And that somewhere Rahul Gandhi came and he diffused the impact of Priyanka's intervention. And that's a comparison that is drawn again and again and again. In particular on the subject of vote chori, whether or not Amit Shah lost his cool, electoral results, if Bihar is a benchmark, show that it's not something that has worked for the Congress, at least in any tangible electoral way. What do you say? Do you agree with Tavleen, or do you have a different take?
No, I wouldn't articulate things the way Tavleen is articulating, but I'll say one thing, and I've been writing it, and I'm pretty open about it. Vote chori was never an electoral issue. It was a ridiculous electoral issue. And it also, not only did the Congress perform poorly, its whole insistence and stubbornness dubowed its other allies who should have known better also. Let's not blame anyone. There is no doubt that there are institutional changes being made to favor the sitting government at the center. He was distributed after the model code of conduct is highly questionable. And I will say this in your program. I believe Bengal and Tamil Nadu must announce a scheme now and start dispersing money as the election dates come on. I've written this in my column, so it's nothing very radical that I'm saying, just to test it. Because in the past, all of that should be done. But this debate was about electoral reforms. The government could not do it about SIR because that sounds as the government is intervening, which is supposed to be an autonomous. This debate, did we hear anything about electoral reforms? Actually, we heard what could be electoral reforms. It can be about money in politics. It can be shall you take corporate donations because there is always a price to be paid. There are serious. It can even be on the issue of representative, the system first past the post. And all of these issues are on the table for those who seriously apply who want to analyze political algorithms, what can happen politically, ideas, just to say how can we become more representative. It was nothing. Rahul Gandhi went back to that alibi for defeat, which is a very dangerous thing that's happening in the Congress. Because you're not examining the real reasons for your defeat. You are being so arrogant, and this is not just him. I refer particularly to the remarks made by the individual handpicked by him to be in charge of Bihar. He said, well, winning elections is not the only aim of a political party. Social change, in that case, Rahul Gandhi should start examining the caste of all the people around him, since he wants to do that. And I'm all for social change. I'm all for reservation. But you cannot just claim to be, so there are many things which are wrong. So vote chori, unfortunately, has become a very big excuse for not being able to get the job done. And it was not so long ago, Barkha, that the Congress got the job done. They managed to win a very
But you know,
low.
there's a very interesting sentence you used. I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but I was struck by that sentence. You said Rahul Gandhi went back to an alibi for defeat. And
Yeah,
and here
saying,
and here and here's the point. The point is that if he's going to keep on stressing this one issue, and it's not going to either move the needle on electoral reform nor win the Congress any votes, then actually the only entity helped is the BJP.
no, Barkha, to say, one must not construe my words to say that there is nothing, you must not examine what is being done by
No,
the election.
I'm not construing your words.
So
I'm simply
I
talking
want to
it.
be very clear about
Okay.
that. But vote chori, so there are some excellent people who are debating those issues. There is great work. Lawyers went to the court, they got Aadhaar included. There are people who are doing the granular work. A political party, which is the leading opposition party in our country, cannot make that an alibi. Yes, things are hard. There is a government which wants its own people there, and which is trying to ensure that they have their people. And by the way, it's very bad. Let me also say that even vote chori, I have also seen ballot theft, and we one has all seen it. One is not saying that there is not that there is no electoral roll manipulation. I have seen before this SIR. I have written about it, Barkha, in the same book that you spoke to me about, Saffron Stone. I have written about how minority names vanished of a particular booths in Muradabad. It's not something so novel to find. And it's not just happened on behalf of political parties. In older India, which Tavleen would have seen, dominant communities which had the land, which had clout, would remove names of people who were socially less powerful than them. All of this has happened. So it's not something that got invented yesterday. Whether through a new SIR, which is much more digitized, whether it's through a new. So there are many nuances to what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying they can't make that an excuse. Battles are tough. You have to fight tough battles. That
So,
is shocking that they're doing that. Yeah.
okay, I would just want to play out Rahul Gandhi's comment in response to Amit Shah, and I'll come to Tavleen to pick up the threads. I think here's the question: what is the Congress's story? And again, Sabha, I'm not construing or attributing any meaning to your word. I get the differentiation you're drawing between something that needs to be examined and something that is a good story to take to elections that the voter relates to. And sometimes the two are the same, and sometimes they're very different. And in the case of vote chori, there is no resonance clearly with the voter unless the voter is directly impacted and can't vote. She finds this debate esoteric and doesn't necessarily understand it. Let me play out Rahul Gandhi's comment and I'll come right back. Take a look.
अमित शाह जी गलत लैंग्वेज यूज कर दी, हाथ कांप रहे थे, आपने ये तो सब देखा होगा. गलत लैंग्वेज यूज की, मेंटली बहुत प्रेशर में है, दबाव में है. वो देखा कल पार्लियामेंट में, पूरे देश ने देखा. और जो मैंने बातें बोली हैं उसके बारे में उन्होंने कोई बात तो नहीं बोली, प्रूफ नहीं दिया. हमने पब्लिकली प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंसेस में कहा है. मैंने डायरेक्टली चैलेंज किया उनको कि आ जाइए, मैदान में आ जाइए, पार्लियामेंट में डिस्कस करते हैं, मेरे प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंसेस को डिस्कस करते हैं. कोई जवाब नहीं मिला. तो रियलिटी तो आप जानते हो.
So, Tavleen, before you respond, there's also a comment in the audience directly in response to your comment. BD Tavleen is right. Priyanka was fantastic, all caps. If she is allowed the front seat or the LOP role, she will put this government on the mat. But alas, putra mo, in other words, love for the son. The fact is that I don't think that there's going to be any change. This is some sort of theoretical construct that is often brought to the assessment of the Congress. It's been many years. There seems to be no indication that Rahul Gandhi is going to make way for Priyanka to take the front seat. And, once Priyanka takes the front seat, if that were ever to happen, we don't know that anything structurally would change within the Congress. But do you think that the Congress has picked the wrong issues? Or do you think the problem is something else?
Absolutely, they have, which is why they keep losing. The point is that they're not, there are so many issues that they could have picked up. Pollution, air pollution. They've done nothing about it for 11 years. This sort of Jal se, what is it? Nal se, Jal mission. That's in abeyance. A lot of the working so badly on the ground that they have to resort to this, open bribery, which is what they've been doing, from Madhya Pradesh onwards. When an election comes, they suddenly discover that women need to be supported. Why do they not discover all these things before? And the money that they're spending on actually buying votes, let's call it what it is, that should be spent on the welfare schemes, on actually giving people better schools, better hospitals. There are failures upon failures that the Congress could raise, but there's always, something, vague like vote chori. And, in a state like Bihar, Biharis have seen real vote chori when ballot boxes were picked up and thrown away, when mafias wander about ruining every possible, going into booths and just, shooting people. Secondly, when we talk, I thought the discussion was not about electoral reforms. I think it was about SIR, which is something that they've been demanded, that Rahul Gandhi has been demanding forever. So why did he walk out before, the Home Minister finished speaking? And the Home Minister, I didn't see him look nervous. I think that, he was a little bit overexcited, but I didn't, he's dreaming, Rahul Gandhi. And then how can you take up the political, how can you take the leader of the opposition seriously when in the middle of a parliament session he's suddenly off abroad again? What does that mean? Why does he do this over and over again? So, and I really want a strong opposition. I've been arguing for it because it weakens democracy to not have a strong opposition. And the only opposition we can have is the Congress Party. So if the Congress Party is going to be led by Rahul Gandhi, who has proved time and time and time again that he loses elections rather than wins them, and who raises the wrong issues, that he had that one moment when he did his yatra, where he seemed as though he was emerging as a real leader of the people. He was giving you the opposite of Modi, a man with compassion going out there and meeting the people. And then it stopped. He went abroad and, I don't know. I think that he's surrounded by people who flatter him and who pander to his slightly kind of bizarre way of making a point. So, personally, I really want the Congress to survive, but I don't, not survive, revive. I really would like to see people go out there into the villages and revive the village units. And we need the Congress Party. We really do. And, this man has not been able to do it.
I want to pick up that last point about his trips abroad, Sabha. Rahul Gandhi has once again been targeted by the BJP. And there are also people within the Congress or people who support the Congress who, at least privately, will express a kind of disquiet. In Bihar, in the middle of the electoral campaign, Mr. Gandhi wasn't part of the campaign purportedly because he was upset with the seat sharing arrangement with Tejashwi Yadav. Now you have him towards the tail end of the parliament session. He's not missing all of it, but he will be missing some of it going to Germany. It's almost become a trope, and he's almost offering material to the BJP to caricature him. What do you say about this constant debate around Rahul Gandhi's trips abroad?
I mean, it's, the thing is, it is not Amit Shah who needs to be nervous. It is Rahul Gandhi who should be very deeply worried and very, very nervous. Because we have a set of elections coming up in the next year, in few months, three months. We will have Bengal, which has no need for an alliance with the Congress, which got wiped out with even the border districts. There is such huge division in the Kerala Congress, from where Priyanka is now the MP. There is Tamil Nadu, which I think they'll give them exactly the same number of seats that they used to. And then there is Assam, where Congresses would like to imagine they can defeat Himanta Biswa Sarma. They should be worried right now. Because, and so I'm not saying that whether he has every right to say Amit Shah. Look, I'll tell you, the problem is that you speak, Amit Shah was also very, it was not the finest moment for the Home Minister to speak in that manner. And he kept on talking about Ghuspetia. I will say this to you, I want to know which Ghuspetias were discovered by the Bihar process. None, as far as I know. So you are talking Ghuspetia because your next contests are Bengal and Assam. Rahul Gandhi went on about vote chori, and it was not about SIR because the government felt that you cannot discuss what the election commission is doing because of autonomy. So it was made about elections, and but it became, and Rahul Gandhi went on about vote chori, which a campaign which just flopped. And you've got better people than him who are giving you the details. It is Mr. Yadav he went to the court and he produced people who had died in the list, which is why the court allowed all the lawyers and all, they went there. They showed people who were dead, which is why the Supreme Court included Aadhaar. We have to understand there are many other people also working on the granular details who are making a noise with actual details, not generalities. So I think Rahul Gandhi should be nervous, and also to demand that a conversation in Parliament should be on his press conferences is a little arrogant. So it's not as if right, and it's not that the government covers itself in glory, because they also, such a mighty BJP winning all the elections, they also appear. So when they don't invite the leader of the opposition to dinners with the visiting Russian president, they're not diminishing him. They're diminishing themselves and showing themselves with this small-mindedness. They're diminishing the country because this is a state visit. So they're diminishing the country because there is a space for an opposition. And you play such ridiculous games like getting one unhappy Congress MP, such as Shashi Tharoor.
I was just going to ask you about. Can I ask you both about that? Since you mentioned the banquet for Putin, and you said that Rahul Gandhi was. Yeah, so you say it was petty to not call Rahul Gandhi and call Shashi Tharoor.
And the Russians must have laughed at us. They must have shared a few jokes. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Shashi Tharoor, because it's also one of the sort of festering wounds now for the Congress party. The criticism by the Congress of Shashi Tharoor, I'll start with you, Sabha, since you raised it first. The criticism of Tharoor by the Congress is now very public. You now have their official leadership coming out, objecting to the fact that he attended the banquet, earlier being quite scathing about his comments on LK Advani. You know, I mean, it's now an open collapse, right?
Yeah, but Barkha, they don't want to sack him. They just want him to carry on. They're giving him a very long rope. They'll wait to see, will he hang himself or will he be able to survive it? They're not going to sack him because they have other fish to fry. No, Congress is not going to sack Shashi Tharoor. So Shashi Tharoor has to figure out his path. That much I have reliable.
And you don't think that the Tharoor issue is a problem for the Congress?
No, I think there is another issue which has come alive in Kerala, is that there is one of their big leaders who has been accused of mass rapes. You know, that's one of the big issues. Actually, at the ground level, people tell me that is playing out a lot. So Tharoor has his little, he's more played out in a certain sections of media. This is what I'm told. And the left would be hoping that there is a small upsurge of the BJP, so that some of the Nayars and all go towards there, and then they can have a third term. These are the very early days kind of predictions, because there is lack of clarity. The Congress is, there is a problem with this one individual, and there is Shashi Tharoor. They're not going to sack Shashi Tharoor. I've asked them. I've asked people who know this. Shashi Tharoor can continue in the Congress. Whatever.
So, but here's my question to you, Tavleen. This dissonance between Tharoor and the Congress, it has to represent something wider. You know, Sabha can say that Tharoor gets more play in the media than it's an actual electoral issue on the ground in Kerala. And perhaps there's truth to the fact that Tharoor doesn't have a lot of great options, because if he's not willing to join the BJP and the Congress isn't going to sack him, then it's a zero-sum game for Tharoor. But it also has to represent something that is problematic within the Congress. Why is somebody like Shashi Tharoor feeling underutilized? Why has he fallen out so dramatically with the Congress leadership?
Well, I think you know why. It started with the election for the president, where he actually went to Sonia Gandhi and asked her if he should contest. And she said, yes, you must, etc. And then every unit of the Congress was him. And then suddenly they produce, what's his name, Kharge, and, make it clear that they don't want Tharoor to win. Now, Tharoor would have made a much better Congress president. He's an intelligent man. He's a man who is articulate. which is something we can't say for some of the people we've been talking about. But he's clear-headed. He has a political sense. He has, he did very well on selling Operation Sindoor as for Modi. And I don't think that he will want to leave the Congress. People like him should stay there, and we want many more like him to rise up, but they're not allowed to because Rahul Gandhi is surrounded by a coterie, by a darbar. And he doesn't allow any. At least that's what I get the feeling. So somebody like Shashi Tharoor is a direct threat to him because he is what Rahul Gandhi should be as leader of the opposition. He is able to carry a thought through without going into Kanjivaram saris. I mean, what did that have to do with electoral reform? You tell me. Okay, Khadi, electoral. I mean, what did the speaker had to say to him? Do you know the subject we're talking about? And so as far as I'm concerned, Rahul, really, it's time for him to go abroad and stay abroad for a while and stay in the backdrop and let other people build the party. We need the Congress to survive.
But Sabha, that's, I think, not about to happen. How do you explain the sort of intransigence of Rahul Gandhi's chosen issues? I was just thinking, listening to both of you, in every campaign, Rahul Gandhi has chosen one issue that he has then embraced with sort of almost doubling and tripling down on it, and those issues have not yielded electoral results. So it was Rafale, there was a Rafale focus, there was a Chaukidar Chor Hai focus, there is now a vote chori sort of focus. All of these issues have been stubbornly doubled and tripled down on by Rahul Gandhi, even as many other people are saying this is not resonating with the voter. What makes Mr. Gandhi not nervous? I think that's the intriguing question. At this point, if I were in Rahul Gandhi's position, I'd be extremely anxious.
Well, I mean, I think there's a very simple reality. We have to accept this, that Mr. Gandhi, no matter what happens, his position is secure. Which, by the way, if Amit Shah lost so many elections, his position would not be secure. Then, I mean, that's a fact. Huh?
Yeah.
So, having put that aside, I'm still not saying, look, the Congress had its moment in this in the BJP dominant era. It had its moment in the year 2023. It managed to win Karnataka very convincingly. It also very narrowly got back Himachal Pradesh. It then went on to win Telangana. Himachal, all our places in Karnataka, they had a cadre, they had a Sangathan over there. In Himachal, they also have deep roots. They are not able to reconcile themselves to realities in particularly UP Bihar. They go a bit crazy. I think they remember their glorious past, Allahabad and whatever, they've been wiped out from these areas, and they have to depend on people, on parties who represent the Mandal force to be with them, and they actually internally they might be looking down on them for all this talk of social change. So it's like you can't get over your own what you were and what you are in these places. So I think they have healthy structures in Karnataka, and right now Congress is looking very divided in Kerala, because I've just been calling up people.
Also Karnataka, Sabha. Also Karnataka. They have a problem with DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah.
Yes, he's very upset. But here in Karnataka, they also had a social justice face in Siddaramaiah. Let's not forget that. They have that caste is important in politics.
Yeah.
It does count, but not in the way, not as something that I just declare. I come out of my house and I say, oh, I love everybody and I'm going to be very... It doesn't happen like that. It's an organic thing. And you've got to let the people speak for themselves. You can't speak and say that I'm waiting for a caste reject of everything. You have to let, so the whole thing, that there's something which is not striking an authentic note. The DMK has even invested in getting journalists from diverse backgrounds to encourage, to sort of support their entry into media. Those are the things that happen, because even the media is shockingly closed in the caste sense. So, that is how you play the long game. So, and it's not just caste, it's cadre, it's everything. And they had a slogan, they had they had the Congress ki guarantee cards they gave all over, which the BJP saw was working. So they immediately took it on and they said, Modi ki guarantee. That was it, And then the Congress somewhere lost heart. And then the kind of divisions, they are also not able to surmount inner party divisions in places like Madhya Pradesh, even in Rajasthan. Even though Rajasthan, they can still revive there. It's not so bad over there because they did okay in the Lok Sabha. There are different factors at play there. But there are certain states from which they're getting erased. So beyond the south, and right now there's, Bengal, they tied up with the left last time and they got 0 seats. And now they're going to be again fighting the left in Kerala. And they also broke the left record because always every time it's turn by turn. The left has had 2 terms. And there are people who have been thinking, can it have a third? Because of the way Congress is fighting among itself.
And with all the challenges you list, at least I don't know, maybe to each their own, but I would not have the mind space to be able to conference way to Colombia or Germany. Quickly.
I agree. I find it shocking.
It is shocking.
It's shocking. You're the leader of the opposition. Why do you want to go there? What is this? What is going on here? And then
Tavleen.
Home Minister
Tavleen, last word to you.
I want to answer the question that you asked, Sabah, in one word: entitlement. That is what makes him not nervous. And I promise you, if you could get the family to play a backdrop role instead of as the future prime minister type role, the Congress can revive and should. The family can just, they should consult with mummy and ask her whether, they can just, they can be the patrons or whatever. They don't have to be the candidate every time.
You want them to be like the monarchy in United Kingdom.
Sort of, yeah.
Symbolic, but not active.
Yeah, well, play whatever role you want to, but not this one. This one's not working. And the entitlement, by the way, is what worries a lot of voters. Whenever I've asked them, why don't you like Rahul Gandhi? And by the way, most people don't like him. They say, ye baat hi nahi kar sakta. Isko to pata hi nahi hai ki kya bolna chahiye. So, he's been introduced and reintroduced and introduced again. And it's really time for him to take the role of the sort of the patron of the Congress party.
Well, the critical elections coming up, as Sabah has pointed out, Kerala, Bengal are going to be the big ones. And, I don't know, whatever ideological differences. Sorry, Sabah, you're saying something? Sorry, Sabah, can we unmute Sabah?
The Congress direct contest, BJP versus Congress. So Congress this time is fighting 2 ideological poles. BJP in Assam, left in Kerala. And Assam, you have Gaurav Gogoi, who has been given a lot of importance in the Rahul Gandhi team. So, and he's also, his father was a very successful chief minister. So you have 2 big contests. So let's see.
All I'll say is, if ever there was a time to hunker
down,
very
confident about them, but let's see.
Just the limited point that I would make, which I think all 3 of us agree on, is if ever there was a time to skip your Christmas break, it is now. And you need to hunker down and do some hard work. And that's really the bottom line on the show today. We leave it there. Thank you, Tavleen. Thank you, Sabah. And to our audience, thank you, and see you tomorrow.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Voter Story and support independent, robust journalism.